March Madness starts this week, and guess what? This channel usually posts UFC. In the past, it posts baseball. Well, this week, we're posting March Madness. In this video, I'm going to be making my entire bracket start to finish. I have some stats I would like to go over, and some other stats that, maybe don't go over, because it's going to hurt my championship narrative. Without further ado, let's create the perfect bracket. Before I dive into my bracket, I just want to go over some little things that I'm going to be looking at. So, if we look at the 2021 winner, the 2022 winner, and the 2023 winner, Baylor was the 1 seed. They were the 2nd ranked offense, 22 ranked defense. Kansas, the 1 seed, 6th ranked offense, 17th ranked defense. UConn, the 4 seed, last year, 3rd ranked offense, 7th ranked defense. Now, if we're going to look for a winner this year, we would want a team that's in the top 25 offense, top 25 defense, preferably top 10 offense, and the defense can be hovering in like the 25-30 range. Now, what teams fit that profile? Well, we have UConn. Obviously, UConn, they're 1st in offense, 11th in defense. So right off the bat, UConn, I understand why they're the heavy favorite. Auburn, here we go. We got some spice. Auburn, ranked 4th in the country as a 4 seed. Let me say that again. They are ranked 4th in the country on KenPom, okay? And they're the 4 seed. I don't know. I don't make the brackets. I'm just telling you the knowledge. Auburn, 10th offense, 4th best defense. Arizona, 8th ranked offense, 12th ranked defense. Creighton, 12th ranked offense, 24th ranked defense. They have a notable win over UConn, and they are guard heavy. Now, you might be saying, Fins, what are you about to say right now? Are you about to have Creighton be your national champion? I don't know. It could be. But let's get into the bracket now. Okay, as I'm making these picks, I'll give you a little tidbit of knowledge as to why I'm making the pick, and we're going to move on. So first, UConn over Stetson. Do I even have to say anything? UConn is the heavy favorite to win the whole tourney. They're not going to lose to a 16 seed in the first round. Florida Atlantic taking on Northwestern. This is a very similar team to the same Florida Atlantic team last year that made the Final Four. Keep in mind, guys, I did 1 day of research. 1 full day. I spent the entire day Monday learning about each team. So I'm pretty knowledgeable at this point. Florida Atlantic. San Diego State taking on the UAB Blazers. Now, the only reason I would entertain the idea of the Blazers is because they're on a hot streak entering the tourney. But for every other reason, it's in San Diego State's favor. The defense is top ranked. The offense is top ranked. There's no way I'm picking Blazers here. That's going to probably be one of the only 5-12 matchups where it's like a lock that the 5 seed wins. I think San Diego State, there's no way they lose. Auburn taking on Yale. You already know my thoughts on Auburn. I think they're going far. We're taking Auburn. No offense to Yale. BYU taking on Duquesne. Now, here's the thing about BYU, guys. Something I noticed in my notes. BYU shoots the most threes per game at 12. Number 2 is Alabama. Number 3 is Creighton. Number 4 is College of Charleston. We'll get into that later, why that means something. But BYU shoots more threes than all these teams. Now, teams like this, they can make deep runs, but they can also lose early because it's live by a 3, die by a 3. Now, everything I see people saying about Duquesne is they suck. So we're just picking BYU. I just wanted to say all that about them and for the future rounds. Illinois taking on Morehead State. Now, this is a matchup. I see a lot of people taking Morehead State. I'm not entirely sure why. When I look at Illinois' profile, 3rd best offense, 93rd best defense. Okay, now I understand. So Illinois, it has a terrible defense, it looks like. And that's basically it. That's just fade material, I guess. They suck on defense. There's nothing else about them. I understand they're guard heavy. They have nice guard play. But I guess if Morehead State is going to have an effective field goal percentage of 54% and they're going to chuck up to 3, I can see how Morehead State actually has a chance here. And the spread is only 11.5 for a 3 versus 14 seed. It seems like they know something that we don't. I'm going to go ahead and take, with my first big upset, Morehead State. Let's move on. They have the 100th ranked defense, guys. Illinois is not going far anyway. Might as well make them lose in the first round. Washington State taking on Drake. I'm going to go with Drake because everybody's taking Drake. Screw it. I mean, let's look at the little highlights here. They have basically the same highlights: 7th in defensive rebounding, 8th in defensive rebounding. Thanks a lot, ESPN. That's gonna help me make my bracket a lot. Like what? Like okay, Washington State struggles at free throw shooting. I guess. I mean, Drake won their conference tourney. They're coming in on a hot streak. Washington State did not. That's basically what I'm using to go off that pick. And Iowa State, guys, I love Iowa State, guys. Iowa State, they might have the 55th best offense, not that good, but they have the best defense in the country, and they just beat Houston. Or rather, not even beat, they smoked Houston in the Big 12 final. So I'm taking Iowa State. They shouldn't even be a 2 seed. So let's keep going. Nice work. Thank you. Thank you, men's bracket predictor. North Carolina taking on Howard or Wagner. They think it's going to be Howard. It doesn't matter anyway because UNC is winning. And Mississippi State versus Michigan State. Now, I really love Michigan State, guys. Preseason, I looked into this. Michigan State was like one of the top 5 teams to win it all prior to the 2024 season playing out. So that means, over the course of the season, they struggled a lot in the tournament, in the Big Ten tournament. They didn't do that well. But an interesting stat I found that is in Michigan State's favor is that their luck factor, they rank 355th in luck. That means they are losing to the teams they should be losing to, and they are beating the teams they should be beating. And then the teams, sometimes in their losses, they're just getting unlucky as well. So if you're 355th in luck, that is kind of crazy because you're bound to change your luck eventually. I don't really know what the luck factor means in KenPom. I was really trying to figure it out, guys. But I think it means that we should be picking Michigan State. That's why I'm taking them. St. Mary's taking on Grand Canyon. The spread is 5.5. That is very scary, considering I really like St. Mary's here. I mean, they have the 45th best offense, 16th ranked defense. The problem is they're 358th in tempo. So they like to slow the games down a lot. And if a team can shoot the 3 against them, they might be screwed because their tempo is 355th in the whole country. 358th, sorry. So Grand Canyon 29-4. I mean, the 3-point, nothing really, there was no stat that I can find about Grand Canyon that would make me want to pick them. They rank 5th in defense. I mean, I don't know who took that. I don't know. They don't rank 5th in defenses, but okay, sure. They struggle at ball handling. I don't know. I think St. Mary's defense will be enough to stifle Grand Canyon, and they can keep the pace to a halt. But this spread is messing with my brain. I'm just going with my gut. We're taking St. Mary's. We got Alabama versus College of Charleston. The over-under in this game is the highest over-under in a college basketball game in 20 years. That's because these guys excel at shooting the 3. Like I said earlier, Alabama shoots 11.1 threes a game. College of Charleston shoots 10.5. So based on that metric alone, it's hard not to pick Alabama. They do the same thing, but Bama does it better. So it's like, how do you not pick Alabama in that spot? I'm looking at other things that I wrote down. Nothing really about Alabama. So I'm taking Alabama. It's just simple as that. Clemson taking on New Mexico State. New Mexico State is the favorite as the 11 seed. They went through the Mountain West tournament and basically shut everyone down. Clemson is as lukewarm as it gets heading into the tournament. Nothing really jumps out. New Mexico's not that good at the 3, something I noticed. But I think they can just smoke Clemson, to be honest. If New Mexico loses here, that just means the Mountain West Conference is a fraudulent conference, meaning San Diego State, Nevada, Utah State, they're all going to be screwed. I don't think so. So I'm taking New Mexico State here, even though I'm a Clemson alumni. It's funny how that works. Baylor taking on Colgate. I don't see a single soul taking Colgate. I'm taking Baylor. That's the end of that. Dayton taking on Nevada. Now, I heard a lot of people hyping up Dayton earlier in the year. They were like, Dayton might go on a Final Four run, something like that. And I was like, really? Let me look into the stats here about Dayton. Did I miss something about Dayton? I don't know. They shoot 9.5 threes a game. Okay, here's another thing. Nebraska shoots exactly 9.5 threes a game as well. So they match them there. I mean, Dayton's offense is pretty high octane, I would say, for a 7th ranked seed. And I think that's going to be enough to push them over Nevada, even though Dayton is the underdog here. I'm not sure. Both of these teams can shoot the three, and both of them are good at shooting it. And Dayton has a higher effective field goal percentage. I'm sticking with my initial read, and that's Dayton. And we're going to move on. Arizona taking on Long Beach State. I mean, Long Beach State struggles at threes. That's all I had to see. Arizona's not losing that game. We're going on to the South. Let's get it. Houston taking on Longwood. Now, the only reason I would ever take Longwood is because there's a stat that the last 3 years, a phallus-sounding college has won in the first round as a big underdog. We had Oral Roberts. We had Fairleigh Dickinson. We had St. Peter's. All three of those sound like phallic names. And now we have Longwood, 16, taking on Houston, the 1. Last year, Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue 16-1. All right, enough of that. Houston's winning this game. Texas A&M taking on Nebraska. Nebraska is favored by 1. Texas A&M earlier in the year, a lot of people were very high on them. No longer. So I'm not really sure who to take here. My initial lean was Texas A&M. Nebraska shoots a lot of threes, 9.5 per game. No other real stats to go off of other than that one metric. And everything points in the favor of Nebraska according to this. So I'm just going to take Nebraska for those reasons. Wisconsin taking on James Madison. This is one of the only matchups I was considering putting a 12 seed over the 5 seed. And since you have to have a few of those, I'm taking it here. James Madison's 31-3. Need I say more? That's basically it. It says it right here. They excel at defense and scoring. So they're just a good team. Okay. How's that going to help me? It's not going to help me, but I'm taking them anyway. Duke playing Vermont. I'm not going to have Duke go super far, but I'm also not going to have them lose in the first round. About Duke, I actually like Duke a lot because they rank well in offense and defense, top 20 in both categories, and they are 333rd in luck, which means, like I said before about Michigan State, they're just bound to turn their luck eventually, right? Like, that's how luck works, I guess. They have the 26th ranked D, and they have the 7th ranked offense. Just give me the Duke Blue Devils, please. Texas Tech versus NC State. The only reason anybody would take NC State in the spot is because they're on a savage win streak, and they went through the ACC tourney. They shouldn't even be in March Madness, but they won the tournament. Therefore, they're in March Madness. So with that being said, you want to pick teams that are hot, you pick NC State. Texas Tech is good at the 3, good at free throws, and good at defense. So, like, are we just picking NC State off of vibes? Like, is that really what we're going to do in this spot? I am not. I'm going to take Texas Tech here, and I'm going to take a different team later on that's the similar profile to NC State. Let's move on. Kentucky taking on Oakland. I literally did zero research on Oakland, so I'm sorry, because I'm just so high on Kentucky. 5th best offense. Here's the problem. 108th ranked defense. They are not going far, but they're not losing round 1. They rank high in 3-pointers, offense, and that's enough to win round 1 for me. Florida taking on the play-in winner, which is projected to be Colorado. I think it can also be Virginia. If Florida plays Virginia, they're smoking them. If they play Colorado, it might be a tougher matchup. Now, Florida is missing, I think, their best player. I think he got hurt in the SEC tournament final, which is why Florida lost. And it's hard to pick a team that just lost their best player. I could just be making stuff up. I consume a lot of knowledge over the week. Could be mixing up some teams. I'm taking Florida. Marquette versus Western Kentucky. Now, the spread here is 14.5. This is a 2 versus 15 matchup. That is a scary number. It should be higher. About Marquette. Teams, I have them as a team to avoid. I have them listed as a team to avoid. That does not necessarily mean I'm going to have them lose round 1. So we're going to move on. I'm going to look stupid if they just lose. Because I just knew. Purdue taking on whatever this is. I'm taking Purdue. They're making a deep run this year. They're not going to be screwed around with. Utah State taking on TCU. I mean, we're going to take the team that doesn't struggle at 3-pointers and that has proved more throughout the season. I'm taking TCU. They're in the better conference, in my opinion. McNeese taking on Gonzaga. 6.5 spread. 5 versus 12. Gonzaga is not the same Gonzaga that we're used to, but they're also not bad. McNeese, though, they shoot the three, and they shoot it well. So they don't rank in the top 10 for most threes shot per game, but they do rank in efficiency. So this is going to be a tough one. I mean, McNeese can easily go on a run if they just get hot at the three-point line, but Gonzaga is pretty good. I don't know. I'm going to take McNeese here because I'm not confident in either team to really make a deep run. Samford on Kansas. Kansas stinks. Kansas isn't going far, guys. They're not going far at all, and that's the end of that. If you want to have them lose in round 1 to Samford, by all means, you can do that. I'm looking at some stats. Samford shoots 9.9 threes a game, and they have the most assists. They're 9th ranked in assists in the country on teams that are in the tournament. So they pass the ball well, and they shoot the three well. That's basically a good recipe for an upset. I'm taking Samford. South Carolina taking on Oregon. I understand South Carolina, a lot of good things. I'm just going to ignore all that. I'm taking Oregon because they're the Pac-12 champs. That's basically it. That's it. That's the analysis. Sorry. Creighton taking on Akron. I see some people recently taking Akron, but you're just not going to beat Creighton if you can't beat Creighton at its own game. Creighton, 12th ranked offense, 24th ranked defense. They're a 3-point shooting team, and they have 3 good guards. That's enough for me. Texas, this is where Virginia is. I have Texas winning regardless. I think they're good all around. Moving on, Tennessee, St. Peter's. We're not having St. Peter's win. We're not doing that. Tennessee, moving on. Now we're in finally the round of 32. Let's keep it chugging. Florida Atlantic taking on UConn. A potential rematch of last year's final, although Florida Atlantic fumbled the bag there. UConn is just not losing in the first 2 rounds. It's just simple as that. Auburn versus San Diego State. I'm taking Auburn for all the reasons listed earlier. This is a very funny matchup. I'm taking BYU because they shoot the three. Drake versus Iowa State. I'm taking Iowa State because I believe in them a lot. UNC versus Michigan State. This is a tough matchup because I do not think UNC is going to go far. But I'm also not super confident that Michigan State will even get to this round. So if those are the reasons for the logic, I'm taking the 1 seed just to score the points. Alabama taking on St. Mary's. Once again, 2 teams that could possibly not even be in this round. And I think Alabama has a much higher chance at not being here than St. Mary's. I think St. Mary's has better defense. I think they can control the pace. If Alabama gets their pace controlled, they can get smushed. I'm taking St. Mary's. New Mexico taking on Baylor. Now, at this point, New Mexico will have won a lot of games in a row because they won round 1. They're in a place they shouldn't be. It'll still be the first weekend of the tournament. I can see Baylor just fumbling the bag along the way. But ultimately, 6th best offense, 64 best defense. They have good guard play. I believe in Baylor to a certain extent. And I think this is where New Mexico's story may end. I'm taking Baylor for those reasons. Arizona taking on Dayton. I don't even think Dayton can get here, but I'm taking Arizona because I think Arizona is going to make the round of 16 regardless. Now we go to the other side of the bracket. Houston taking on Nebraska. I'm putting no stock. I'm taking Houston. As you can see, I'm taking all the 1 seeds basically to make the Sweet 16, so I'm going to get screwed royally, aren't I? Duke taking on James Madison. I don't think this Duke team is going to go too far, although they do rank good profile-y. I believe they are, they rank bad in luck. They are 7th best offense with the 26th defense. A lot of things to like, but also there's no Coach K. It's not the same roster. And James Madison at this point will be 32-3, just riding the hot hand. So I think James Madison's making a run. They're my Cinderella, it seems like. Texas Tech, there's no way I can make them go to the Sweet 16 because I think there's a high chance they lose round 1, and I don't think Kentucky will. So Kentucky also ranks good in my profile thing that I did. Kentucky, 5th best offense, 108th ranked defense. I don't think Texas Tech is the team that's going to exploit the 108th ranked defense. Florida taking on Marquette. 2 teams that possibly might not even be here. I'm taking Marquette because Florida's missing their best player, but I don't even know if that's a true stat. Purdue taking on TCU. Like I said, I'm taking Purdue. McNeese taking on Sanford. This is just a shit show of a matchup. But I think McNeese is the better team. Taking McNeese. Creighton taking on Oregon. This is where things get a little scary because I love Creighton. Like, I just love them. No one loves Creighton more than I do. 12th ranked offense, 24th defense, good guard play, good three-point team. Like, why is no one else picking them? I just did. Texas taking on Tennessee. Two teams that, very wishy-washy. Tennessee has the chance to win the final. They also have the chance to lose in this round. So it's like, how do you pick a team like Tennessee when they're also entering the tournament on a 2-game losing streak? They lost early in the SEC. They do have a really good defense. Just a matter of their offense coming around, even though it's 29th ranked. It's hard not to make Tennessee win here. I'm taking Tennessee. I'm pretty sure I picked most favorites in the second round. That is never a good thing. Auburn taking on UConn. So, when this game actually happens, because it's a 99% chance this actually happens based on who they play prior, it's going to be hard because UConn and Auburn, Auburn is 4th in the country, 10th offense, 4th defense. UConn, first in the country, 3rd offense, 7th defense. This matchup should not be occurring in the Sweet 16. I'm just going to say that. But you gotta pick UConn, right? Because you want to get those points. But UConn might lose, guys. UConn is not. I'm taking UConn. BYU, Iowa State. There's a reason I'm taking Iowa State and UConn. Let's just say that. St. Mary's, UNC. I don't want UNC this far, but I don't think St. Mary's is getting that far. Arizona taking on Baylor. I don't even think Baylor is going to get that far. I think Arizona has a better chance. Houston, JMU. Houston, Kentucky, Marquette. I like Kentucky over Marquette. The thing is, oh man, I don't know. Their defense sucks. But they have the 7th most assists in the country. Marquette doesn't rank that well doing anything. I'm taking Kentucky. Purdue, McNeese. This will be funny if McNeese wins, but there's no way they can get through Zach Edey at that point. Creighton, Tennessee. This is where I think Tennessee loses because I love Creighton. Now we have the Elite Eight. Here we go. Connecticut versus Iowa State. Iowa State. Give me it. Arizona, UNC. Arizona, give me that. Houston, Kentucky. Houston has so many chances to lose before this. And I think Kentucky doesn't. I think that defense sucks. Sucks. Actually sucks. But Houston. Damn. Damn, bro. 108th ranked defense. That's just a crazy number. You can't go that far like that. And then Purdue, Creighton. I would be literally an insane person if I have Creighton in the Final Four. So here we go. Iowa State, Arizona. Arizona, 8th ranked offense, 12th ranked defense. Woof. I love that. Iowa State, 55th offense, best defense. I think this is where the wheels fall off. Give me Zona. Houston, Purdue. Like I said, bro, I think Purdue's got it this year. 4th best offense, 21st best defense. They have a better offense than Houston. And that defense won't be 2nd ranked against Zach Edey. I'm just saying. And then we go to the championship. And then here, can Purdue win it all? That's really the question. Am I really going to have Purdue win the national championship? No. Zona, baby. Zona. You just watched this whole video for me to pick Arizona. How do you feel about yourself right now? Thank you for getting to the end of another Fins Chats video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments who you have this March Madness. Without further ado, make sure you have a great rest of your day. You savage.